Ko te wakahuia he kaikau he kōrero, he kai hāpai mā tauranga, he kaitiaki taonga. Mau ana ko te tapu o ngā taonga tukuiho, ko tā te wakahuia he hono i te hā o tua whakarere ki ngā pātaka mā tauranga o te wā. E putai he kōrero ki te whai ao, ki te ao mārama. A tēnā, kia whai tātou i te māramatanga i roto i ēnei taonga.
Tēnā koutou tamariki mā, nau mai ki tēnei hōtaka o Raranga Matihiko. Ko Sam Hinari tōku ingoa, ko Jesse Robertson tēnei, and we both work at Te Papa Tongarewa here in Te Whanganui Atara.
And together with our friends at Waitangi Treaty Ground Te Peto Whenua, Waikato Museum Te Wharetanga o Waikato and MTG Hawke's Bay Tai Ahuriri, we've got some awesome activities for you to do at your kāinga all around kaitiakitanga. So Sam, what does it mean to be a kaitiaki?
Well, being a kaitiaki means we have a responsibility to look after and to care for things which are precious. So our job as kaitiaki who work in a museum is to look after the taonga which are kept here. However, another part of our job is to help to support you to be kaitiaki for your taonga as well. So Jessie, what are taonga?
Well, taonga are things that are special, precious and important to us. They can be our words and our stories, special places, unique environments, even the people around us. They're all things that we care for and that we want to look after. So what have we been up to this series?
So in this series, we've been using digital tools to help explore the relationship which we have with taonga in the present and in the future. Nō reira, hea te taki mō te rānei.
Well, today's kaupapa is Auaha, being creative. And to explore this, we're going to head to Toi Art here at Te Papa, where our friend Laura is showing us how the museum looks after and displays taonga. Then we're going to come back to the lab where Martin's going to have a go at being creative, displaying his taonga. Sound good?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Awesome. Let's head over to Laura.
Kia ora. I'm Laura. Welcome to Te Papa. It's great that you can join me in one of my favourite places, the art galleries. Have you been here before? Maybe I've seen you. We are going to look at some amazing art. And because we're thinking about kaitiakitanga and Auaha, we're going to look at how Te Papa displays art in different ways. It's important to display everything well because it helps the art to tell its stories. And if we look around us now, we can see different creative ways to show the art. Te Papa also has to be a good kaitiaki to the art and make sure that everything is safe when it's out on display. So let's look around and see if we can spot how Te Papa does this. If you look here, you can see a lot of paintings hanging on the wall in frames and they all look great. But if we look on the floor, we can see white lines in front of the artworks. I wonder why they're there. Yeah, that's right. It's to stop people getting too close to these precious artworks. But if you want to get a closer look at the art, you can look on some screens and get really close up. Sometimes art needs to be displayed in a different way. We can look at a sculpture and that's displayed on a platform. Being on a platform means that we can see all around it and not just the one side. And that also helps to protect the artwork on display. It's all part of being a good kaitiaki. Moving into this part of the gallery, we can see another piece of art that's hanging in the air. That's unusual. If we look up, we can see that it's made of lots of different glass balls attached to colourful ribbons which are hanging from a wire. This artwork, called Indra's Bow by Tiffany Singh, is hanging in its own special space. What a wonderful way to display this art. Inside these glass balls are lots of different things like feathers, pawa shell, and spices. And those spices mean that you can smell this artwork as well as see it. Isn't that fantastic? This installation is also safely displayed away from hands that might want to touch it. If you look here, you can see there's a glass barrier And that protects the artwork, but it's transparent, so visitors can still see through it. Te Papa's thought all the time about how it can be the best kaitiaki that it can be. We can all enjoy the art, but it is also kept safe. If we stand back, we can see that the colours are arranged as a rainbow. It's fun to arrange things in rainbow order. Have you ever done this? How would you display your own art and objects if you had a museum? I think Jess and Sam might be able to help us with this. Over to you.
Kia ora, Laura. Well, you know, Jessie, that was really interesting to see the different ways in which kaitiaki at the museum store their art. You know, when I put art up in my house or taonga in my house, I literally just throw it against the wall and hope it looks good.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't realise that they were actually taking into account the safety of the taonga when they're displaying it. What an amazing job those kaitiaki have.
Yeah, that's right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to head to Martin in the Learning Lab, who's going to use a digital tool called Stop Motion to show us how he displays taonga. Let's go. Oh, kia ora, Martin.
Oh, kia ora, Sam. How's it going?
Oh, pretty good, I guess. How are you?
Well, you know, I've been working here on my computer, and I see you've been looking at Auaha, or Auaha creativity. And it was really cool to see what Laura was up to. Is there something wrong with this picture?
Well, you're not looking at me, Martin.
Yeah.
Kia ora.
Kia ora. Now, seems a bit weird to be talking to someone but not be looking at them, right?
Yeah, it was quite upsetting, to be honest.
Yeah. It makes you probably feel uncomfortable. It probably makes you feel less important when someone's not talking to you.
Yeah, I mean, I thought me and Martin were really good friends, but I'm just not sure anymore.
We just wanted to do something funny as he came in because we're going to be talking about our artworks, our auahatanga, the things that we are creative with and we really think are cool, and how we might communicate that with other people about how we feel. And it would be the same. If you had an artwork and you decided to hide it under your bed, you're probably not letting someone look at that work, and it probably is because you might be feeling a bit afraid. But if you have your artwork on display, say on the fridge, like when you get a certificate, that's a really good way of like telling people you're really proud of the things that you've done.
Yeah, that's really good.
So what we're going to do is I've got a program here. We're going to do stop motion. But first we're going to do an unplugged activity and think about how we might display objects, and the way we arrange them on the wall, like in your bedroom, might change the way that people read your artworks. And reading and artworks kind of seem like a funny thing that you might put together. But actually, when someone's in front of your artwork and you've made stories, like we've been doing through this whole series, when we've made different objects or different images, we're trying to tell stories. So we want to make sure that it's telling it the best way it can.
Oh, great. This is really similar to what Laura was telling us about before. So yeah, really excited about this one.
And that's what curators do in the museum, where they want to create a story and they're using different objects or artworks. They want to display them in a way that helps make sense of that story. Because just like me facing the wrong way, if the story of the artwork is facing the wall, it's probably not telling a good story to the people looking at it. So I see you've got a picture here that you've brought in, and we're going to pretend that this is a room that we're going to display an artwork in. Then we've got our visitor coming in who's going to see that artwork. And when we position it in different places, we're going to think about what that might feel like for the person who comes in and sees your artwork. Okay?
Great.
So, if you put your artwork that you've got there,
I'd like it to go right there.
right up the top of the wall.
Yeah, that's right. I think that's a really great idea. Everyone can see it from really far away.
Perfect. So if someone's approaching this wall from far away, even if there's people standing in front of it, you'll be seeing their artwork. Here's my character. Probably going to walk in, and as they get closer, they're probably going to have to start tilting back to be like, wow, that artwork is really important. It's put right at the top. Imagine what your head would be like. It'd be like, yeah, wow. Now, if it's further away, it might appear a bit smaller,
Yeah.
which is some of those considerations that we might have. But it being above us might be a really good way of making you feel a little bit smaller, and that we should be looking up to this work.
Oh, I think people should be looking up to this work.
Now let's try positioning it in a different place, and we'll think about how it might be reading differently or telling a different story.
What if I put it right there.
Perfect. Now, when we look at this character, they're looking directly at it. Yeah? That's really cool. Now you're kind of on the same level, which is a lovely reading. Well, maybe it's relatable. Maybe you feel like you could have a conversation with that person now.
Yeah.
Now, how about if we turn it upside down? Or do something funny with it?
Okay. So,
because sometimes people play around with the way that it's installed, and that might create confusion or a question. But sometimes that's a good thing. So this person is coming in now, and they're like, wow, look at all these great artworks. Perfect. There's other artworks around. This is an installation of Jenga blocks. And what do you think they're thinking when they see a work like that upside down?
well, if they were to come in, I think someone might be trying to play a trick on them, possibly, or trying to show some kind of confusion, I don't really know.
That's really good. The idea that there's questions and the person's thinking about it, like there's a reason it's upside down, or if there's not a reason, that person didn't install it very well. They literally threw it on the wall and walked away without even checking if it was on the right way. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so you've just shown us 3 different ways in which you can install the same piece of art or the same taonga, and it can mean 3 completely different things.
Yeah, and that helps with your storytelling. And so we're going to use some digital tools to help us do storytelling.
Cool.
And we're going to use a program called Clap Motion. Now, what I'm going to do is on my screen, I've started with Google because Clap Motion is actually a Google extension, and you can find it and you can download it to your computer.
So similar to the stop motion program that Alicia used in the episode about the Auaha.
Yeah, exactly. That one was called Cloud Stop Motion. All right, so I've just started on Google on my slide, but I've actually got it downloaded on my computer. My screen will open up. Whoa, there's me. Okay, so we've got a front-facing camera here, and we've got a back-facing camera. So I really want to be using that one, okay? So I'm just going to flick on that. That should give me my options, and there is my front-facing camera. And you can see through my footage what we had set up there with the person looking at the artwork. So I'll hit spacebar, and we'll get a photograph. And what you'll notice down here on the film strip, we have 1 photograph.
Cool.
Okay? Just like our flick book with those different frames, every photograph is a frame.
Cool.
So I'll just take a few frames. So 4, 5. Here you go, 5 frames. And what we're going to do is think about our objects in space, and we're going to animate someone interacting with it.
Okay, cool.
Because it was great to do it with my hands, but using the magic of stop motion, we're going to show you how to animate those characters so they interact with our taonga.
Great.
All right. So I might tilt my camera just down a little bit, because what I think we might do is focus on one object and have someone interact with that.
Oh,
Okay?
yeah, cool.
Now, I know we saw with Laura, there were some white lines that were a really good safety measure.
Yeah, that you're not supposed to go over. Yeah.
I've got a black line. That's a really nice way of doing it.
Cool.
And that might keep your painting nice and safe, because it's a pretty good painting there.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah.
In our episodes about wakahuia, we made treasure boxes like this, and I think this is a really good taonga. And imagining that it's huge, it's almost like a big waka now. It's like a spaceship. If you think about that taonga in relation to your character.
Yeah.
Now, when you're doing stop motion, the setup is really important, right? Where it looks on your camera and what you're going to do. Now, as we take photographs, we're going to move our character around, but what we need to do is make sure our hands are not in there. Because if your hands are in there, we know that you're moving the character.
Oh, the magic is gone.
Exactly. So what I might do is I'll just move our scene a little bit so our taonga gets a little bit more space around it.
Cool.
That looks better. It's got some lovely space.
Yeah.
Because if a person's going to walk around that, we want to make sure they don't bump into it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now what we're going to do is I'll say photograph, photograph, photograph as I'm taking photographs. And we do work together a lot here at Hinatore. So that when we're working in pairs, there's kind of the camera operator and then it's the animator, okay? So what I want you to do is move a character in, and I'll tell you when it's in the frame, and we'll take a photograph. So perfect. Now, when your hand's in there, it's live, so we'll know if your hands are in there. And so I can say, oh, take your hands away, and we just communicate really clearly so that we can make it animate.
Yeah, we don't want my fingers in. I've got very stumpy fingers, so let's make sure they're out.
Okay. And our object doesn't look protected right now. And we might try and make an animation as to what might happen if that person came in, looks like they've got a paint bucket on them.
Oh my goodness.
So what we're going to do is we'll start just on the edge of the frame. You can see on my footage there. And I'm going to take a photograph. Okay, I want you to move it slightly. Yep, perfect. Taking another photograph. Now, what you'll notice is I can look at the footage and take photographs when I can see that Sam's hand is not in there. Okay?
Yep.
Photograph, 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 photograph. Whoa!
Easy.
Easy. He's really jumped up there.
Easy. Sorry about that, everybody.
That's fine. So if you ever move something or it falls over, there is a little trick that we can use. We can hit what's down here in the bottom left called onion skinning. You know how onions have layers just like ogres? So we hit that and we can see where our last image was. And then if we need to line it up, that's fine. So what we might do is I might take a few photographs. Photograph, 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 photograph. Now if you think about the footage, the person's walked in and then I've taken a few photographs of them not moving. That would probably be like them walking in, standing in front of the artwork, thinking about what they might do next.
Yeah. Cool.
What do you think this person should do next? Do you reckon they should be impressed by our massive taonga, or maybe they're going to touch it? Because there's nothing there that tells them not to touch it. Okay?
I think they're probably impressed, but maybe they think they can add a little bit on with their paint bucket.
Perfect. So we might bring it a little bit closer and we'll pretend that they've put paint on it and they've walked away. Okay?
Yeah.
So through the magic of stop animation, we're going to pretend that they've put some purple paint on there.
Oh my goodness.
Right. And I'll take a photograph. Okay, now this person's probably going to go and walk away. Okay?
Right, we're going to check no one's coming.
No, so checking left.
Checking right.
Checking right.
Checking you guys out.
Checking us.
And then making a dash.
Photograph.
And move.
Photograph.
And move.
Photograph.
And move.
Perfect.
And then one more chicken. And
Hold
gone.
Now that's really great. We've made a really quick fire animation, and this is a good way to start for you too. Get in the program, start taking some photographs, see how things are working, see if your hand's in some of the photographs, and then you get a handle of what's going on. So what I'm going to do, if you have a look at my screen, there's a play button.
Cool.
Okay. Now, usual animations, like the ones you might see in movies or on TV, are about 15 frames per second, which means for every photograph I took, if I take 15, that's only 1 second.
We are going to be here a long time for this animation.
And those movie makers are there for a long, long time. So we're probably not expecting movie quality with what I've done here.
Okay, yep.
And if we need to, I can slow those down. But let's hit play and see what it looks like. I feel like that's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
They've walked in, left some paint, and walked away.
Yep.
Now let's consider our taonga. If another person walks in, what are they going to get to see?
Well, a ruined taonga with a bit of paint on it is not the greatest at the moment.
Yeah, they're going to start asking questions as to, maybe I'm allowed to paint on it too, or why was paint allowed to be on this object? Yeah, if we really value it and we want to be kaitiaki and look after our objects, there's probably a few things we should have put in place to help people understand that we think it's special and we want you to treat it the same way. Yeah? A bit like what Laura was pointing out in the museum. Okay. So what we might do is we might just start a new animation, and this is a great program for just starting new ones. So make mistakes, do them really fast, and learn along the way.
Cool.
Really good philosophy. Now I'll hit new. We've got a new animation should pop up, which means there's nothing, and we've got our taonga there.
Great.
We're going to put some safety measures in place.
Yes.
Okay. And what we might do is build a brick wall with these Jenga blocks we pulled to the side.
Great.
Because I think a brick wall will help them, or a wall or a barrier like that, will help them understand that you're actually not meant to go past and touch our taonga because we want to keep it special.
Yeah.
I also might take that paint that we left there.
Oh, yes.
What's really cool with stop animation is you can put in pieces one at a time and it feels like it's building itself.
Oh, cool.
Okay, so there's some really lovely techniques that you can try at home. So I will take a few photographs first, just so we set the scene.
Yep.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Lovely.
Cool. We'll put in one block. And I'll take a couple of frames and then we'll put in another one. Now, as you get really good at this, we can communicate with each other without even using words. He can hear the button being pushed and I can observe his hands in the way. So as soon as they're out of the way, he'll notice that I'm taking photographs.
Great. So am I still going right the way around?
Yeah, let's go all the way around.
Sorry, half a job over here. Hogging all the bricks on your side. And one more, even though you can't even see it on your screen, just because we want it to be protected.
There we go.
Great.
Now, even that little bit of animation we did there, I can play back through my screen and you'll see that the wall builds itself.
Great.
Now, wouldn't that be a great museum where everything just takes care of itself? We don't need
that
people.
would be great. That would be great. But then I wouldn't have a job.
Exactly. All right, let's hit play. Let's see that wall build itself.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Perfect. So these are techniques you can use when you're thinking about your stop animations. Lego bricks are really good, and any kind of blocks that you can use, kind of like pixels that you might use on the screen. What we're going to do now is a new interaction that will occur with our taonga because we have now put a safety measure in place.
Cool.
We're being kaitiaki for our beautiful taonga, and we're allowing people to see it, but we're making sure that it's nice and safe.
Great.
So I'm just going to scroll through my footage because I do not want to add photographs at the start. I want to add them at the end.
Ah,
And to start taking photographs again, there's a little camera icon up here. Back to camera. Cool. Now I'm live again. Should see my hand.
Cool.
That's always a good test. Want to see if it's live? Should be able to see your hand. So we're just going to make him walk in. Not going to be able to paint on our taonga. And then
Okay.
he'll probably just walk away.
Well, let's do
Perfect.
the sneaky look again first.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Perfect. Photograph. 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 Now, I'll take a few photographs of them contemplating painting on it now. But they're probably thinking, that's too hard now. I can't reach. And I probably go somewhere else and paint.
Cool. Yeah.
Please don't paint in the art galleries, guys.
Please don't.
All right. They've had a good... Now they're not distracted by the things that they can do. They're looking at our beautiful taonga.
Beautiful.
They're probably going to walk off and look at something else. Okay?
Great.
All right. So we'll get them to turn around and walk back out of screen. Photograph. 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 Photograph.
And gone.
And gone.
Great.
Perfect. Now, that's a really lovely interaction with our taonga, and the next person that comes along is going to have a really good experience and get to understand the story or the messages that we've put forward for them.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah.
So we'll just have a quick look, and then we'll let you get back to Jesse.
Great, thank you.
All right. So the wall gets built first, then our character comes in.
Look.
as well.
That's really good.
Awesome. You see that it's on repeat and it's running through that like a flip book over and over again.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you can just keep going or you can start a new one. Awesome. Hope you guys have heaps of fun with this program. It's one of my favorite techniques to do.
Great, well, ngā mihi e mara. I'm excited to tell Jesse all about it. Okay, mā te wā.
Kia ora.
Kia ora, Jesse. Did you see the cool things that me and Martin made using stop motion?
Yeah, it was really cool how you guys were able to show how to be good kaitiaki of the art.
Yeah, and the good thing was, using the tool was actually really easy as well. And in fact, we'd love you guys to have a go doing it as well. So have a go at the activities, show them to your whānau, and then if you'd like, we'd love you to upload them to social media using the hashtag below.
That's all from us for now. We've had such a good time doing these activities with you. And if you're looking for more great digital activities, make sure that you check out the Raranga Matihiko website. Hopefully, we'll see you again.
Ka kite anō.